Okay, we call this arrival. What do you think, Jacob? Well, we've got deer. We've got Jacob prints on deer prints. Look at the difference. Look how heavy that fellow is. And Jacob. There's the pottery. There's metal. Anyhow, we're just arriving to do a little filming. See what Jacob thinks of the place. All right, he's already digging. And we'll see what we can show off. See if we can get our zoom active. Different types of metal already exhibited. Water flowing normally. Oh, and of course, beaver dam, which, look, deer tracks we can follow. But the beaver dam, which busted, on the last big rain 2 weeks ago when everybody was getting that snowstorm, we were just getting a shit ton of rain and it washed out a lot of stuff, including yon beaver dam. Water's cold, dude. You're not sure if you want to cross it, are you? Are you? It's a little chilly. This would be his first water crossing. There you go. There you go. It's not too bad. Now, the problem is, there's a lot more of those, dude. I guess we could cut off up to the tree, the X tree, like you're doing there. I really don't know how good the audio is when this thing is pointing away from me. But I also came down here to show you the place, not me. So that's clay. You see? It's unfired. All right, we're trying Jacob off leash. Unfortunately, you all can witness the success or failure of this first attempt with him. Come on, dude. Oh, look at the huge. Look at this. See, a lot of times once you get the animal trained, see the carbon on the backside? Once you get the animal trained, he's not ready for the water, he's not ready to make that full leap yet. Here is a huge hunk of the clay. It's about to fall apart. Come on, dude. All right, I'll come over there and show everybody this marker tree. Different sorts of metal. All right, so once you're at the confluence of these two creeks, dude, you're gonna get soaked there. You don't have to. You don't have to. He said, okay, I got it. He said it's cool. See, look, I got you. See, me too. Me too. Come on, we're gonna come back up here and show these folks something. Okay, so I'm at the confluence of technically 3 creeks, right? But this one plays like a beaver dam. But you can see this one here, this one over here. Up this one is the crescent-shaped mound for which I have the clay piece, which represents it. Now here, directly at the confluence, there under the bridge of these 3, do we have this tree. It's like a giant X. to my eye. Right, see, zoom in. You see it's one tree. Right? Zoom back out. And then we'll approach for a little perspective. Jacob, come check out the tree, dude. Let's let them see what it looks like. Yeah, find it. There we go. Okay, so, yeah. Wide base. You can really see, there you go. That's a better shot at it being one tree wrapped then. Around itself. Those aren't very big, but they do sting. Okay, so see it wrapping back around itself? Then it splits all the way up. That's why I call it an X. I mean, you know, if you're only looking at that, you'd call it a fucking V. I don't know. But when you're looking at history, you know, we all think of treasure maps, we think of X. It looks like an X to me. It does indeed from the other side look like a man sometimes, as Ricardo says, with his arms outstretched. But here we are at the confluence of these two creeks. How you doing, dude? Doing good? All right. Now, Jake, the plan was to walk these folks up to the mound. How you feeling? See what he does. See how long it takes. Jacob! Oh, look at this. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, we'll take one call. Now, see, you can kind of see, I think, from this angle, and then, of course, from back here, where it sort of looks like a man, you know, with its arms outstretched. Again, at the confluence of these two creeks, you know, these three creeks, would have been a major, you know, point here just south of Mabila. So back up behind me here as Jacob finds a stump to chew on. Can you guys see that? Back right up here. So if I head this way, right, I would come to this crescent mound, or we can follow the creek around. We'll see how Jacob's going to respond to getting on in the creek, and we'll walk around maybe. Come on, dude. Yeah, I know. I'm longer. I can do it in one. What are you going to do? I'll sit here and look at some of DeSoto's shit. You're just going to bark? All right. Come on, follow me down. That's a good one. What if I chill here? Come on, dude. That's like a foot. See, so some type of metal. You know, it's the metal that doesn't belong. All of these little clay pieces, Vincent sort of showed us, some fired and some not. And rock, you know, I was used to, but it's this metal that really stood out in this place. Because as you see, just for those that haven't seen, you know, any of these other videos, you like big, you know, he likes sticks that are just a little too big. You're gonna get stuck, man. All right, back to work. So you find so much of it, you know. I mean, here I've been stopped for what, 40 seconds? All right, really stands out. versus a piece of work stone, you know. All right, Jacob, we got to move. We're going to run out of both daylight and my tolerance for the temperature of this water. If I stop to show you guys everything that catches my eye, because there is too much out here today after the rain. Things I would be picking up if I were out here to collect, but alas, not what we're doing today. We're trying to film a video to show Ricardo and you guys live tomorrow night. And we forgot to look at Bill Murray yesterday. See, now you know I'm filming it just for you. We forgot to look at the Bill Murray clip yesterday. Every time I stop and I'm filming, I like to just exhibit how it's everywhere. It proliferates, this fucking creek. Dude, back to the water. All right, we'll see how he does on his own. I'm gonna try to move kind of quickly. Interesting rock. How you liking it? Sounds like you're liking it. I think you're liking it. Yeah, the rocks, I know you like the rocks. It actually seems like fired clay. Look at this. See, that belongs, you know. All the metal doesn't. Quartz. All right, come on, dude. Let's keep moving. Despite the proliferation of Spanish metal fragments, I am keeping this, though. To all things here that have ever been here, hang on, dude, that ever will be here, thank you for sharing this space. My name is Jason. That's Jacob. Thank you for sharing the space. Give us the eyes to see, the ears to hear, the ability to know anything that you would have us to. Amen. So it's getting in touch with that spirit down here and the people who are doing this. That first had me down here, you know, more deer. It was not by any stretch searching for Mabila, or as I like to say, finding Mabila. I guess it's the FM. It's probably what I like. I was in a play called FM once. Do not ask what it stood for, but of course, FM radio, we all know. And we have pottery fragment from some time period. Metal. It's everywhere, guys. You see when I stop how I can show you, you know, it's like all of it together. Here's clay shaped, you know, like some of these other pieces and like some of these stones and like these other clay pieces, but it hasn't been fired yet, right? So see, it just crumbles. When there's a lot of rain, it washes out. All right, dude, what do you got up there? Let's keep pumping if we're gonna make this mound. That sounded really terrible. Look at the driftwood. See, this is how you get things behind the studio. Oh, wicked. Wicked. This is like, you know, you see in my studio. Yeah, that's gonna have to come home. Okay, we'll grab that when we're done filming. That's a wicked piece. All right. I've already given up on wherever the thought was there. But yeah, by no stretch was I hunting Mabila. I had Luna out here. My goodness. So this is the first time I've been down here since the rain. And these sheets of metal. Anyway, you know, it's everywhere, you know. So I hope to get out of here before this sun sets, because it'll be a lot colder then, but also because I want to give you guys, drive around and show you guys the back side of Mabila. There's some yellow clay. And when you look at these modern houses, you know, and you imagine them maybe half the size of this native longhouse, you get a good idea, yeah dude, we're almost to the mound, of what indeed Mabila itself, at least, you know, in your mind's eye, might have looked like. See a piece of metal with the layering obvious, and then the melting. So on these little sandbars that one finds way up these creeks, I would come with Luna, you know, seeking sanctuary, seeking this connection with this native spirit. And then this metal just drastically stands out. And here we are at the foot of the mound with already some very old pieces of rock and clay. But you see what happens with construction, right? So this is the beginning of the neighborhood. I'll show you on the map, I'm sure, in this little presentation. This is the beginning of the neighborhood. And you see how early on backfill, construction fill was thrown in here. And so this mound you see rising behind me was originally, look at that, was originally clear of this creek. It's metal, right? To protect it from erosion. These quartz. Same thing you find over in the Coosa. Again, so where were we? We're talking about the erosion, which is just fucking pitiful. Come on, dude, we're gonna climb back up this thing, up the back of this mound, to see how many feet we've already lost by looking at this mat, right? So all of that moss and topsoil, right? What is that? 6 working on, 7 feet, that it was this way, right? That has been washed out and washed downstream. Now that's not where the metal's coming from, but the artifact, the clay-shaped artifact, I'm sure I'll show you guys, was found much further downstream where the heron flew when I first fell in, if I opened with that video. Come on, dude. Jacob. Jake. So I don't want to hop up here without him seeing how I got up there, because then he's just going to freak out, and we're going to have to deal with him standing in that deep water over there like he's doing now, not knowing how I got. There we go. Who's a good boy? All right, this way. All right. So this, essentially I call the beginning of the mound, right? Jacob's heading up it already. Ah, get out of the burrowing critter hole. You just had a bath. Sorry, audience, that was a bit loud, but he was the perfect size to get down in there and get in a fight. Okay, so here, dude, don't follow me. what I'm gonna do is probably cut to footage I have from Nick, of Nick standing up here and watching me jump down. Look, the thorns get a lot rougher over here. And that's what runs all the way down this thing, down there. So I have footage with Nick walking down in here, and you can really see, since the water was up the other day, the water reflecting through there. Okay, so this is my Mabila Today video, walking you quickly through the route I took to finding this mound, finding these artifacts, and then running northward, which here now I'm gonna drive around shortly and give you guys a glimpse of, so you can see truly what Mabila Today looks like. Okay, my arm's tired and I want to look for artifacts. I'm gonna cut.